Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm P.H.A.J. So these are the things that you guys are going to need today, and you're also going to need an elastic band. I ended up using one from something I already had and I didn't show it in the beginning, so you're going to need an elastic band. And yeah, so let's just get right into what we're going to be doing. And you know, everything we need is usually what we already have. And then I do have this sheet that we're using for the lining of our shorts, and then of course we have bandanas, and I'm using these pair of shorts to be our pattern. So yeah, I was really just winging this in a sense. I've never made any shorts before, so yeah, and they came out pretty good for me to be winging it. I do wish that I had a white string, but I didn't end up getting one. So anyway, I cut out the sheet that I'm using for the lining and just made it smaller so we can see what we're really doing. Using a fabric, what's it called, a fabric pencil to trace this out, so it will make it very easy for you to see, and for you to see on the video and for you to see when you're doing your project. So this is a white fabric pencil, and I got it from Amazon. So we're just going to trace out this print, and this is going to be our front print, and I'm just going to cut it out. It's folded in half, by the way, so it's going to give us two of the front pieces. Since this is not a stretchy material at all, what we're going to do is use the front piece. We're going to put it on top of this other folded lining, and we're going to measure about 1.5 inches wider for the back piece, because this is not stretchy material, and you know that we got a little something going on in the back, so you have to make sure that it is enough material to wear and not look like your butt is being squeezed. Does that make sense? Yeah, to make it not look, make sure your butt doesn't look like it's suffocating, and also to make sure that it can actually fit and go over your butt. So I'm just measuring 1.5 inches all the way around, and then connecting the lines to create the same shape before I cut it out. If you want to go bigger than this, you can. It's all up to you and the shorts that you're using. So now we have our two pieces, our front and our back. So I got these bandanas from where did I get them? I got these bandanas from Amazon. I call this Dazan. So I got these bandanas from Dazan, Amazon, you know what I'm saying. And they all came. These are all the colors that came. If it wasn't Corona time, then I could probably go to the store and pick out every color that I actually want to use in different type of colors and stuff like that. But anyway, we're going to be cutting these into fourths. So we're cutting it in half one time, and then we're going to cut it in half again to give us 2 pieces of bandana. And that's what we're going to do for the rest of them. Cut it in half. What did I say? Cut it in half again. And here we go, all our colors. And I'm just using 2, and then the rest I'm just having for another project. Who knows what I may or may not make. So now, if you haven't seen my first series of the patchwork, you will see that this is what I do to create my pieces. So now we're just moving around the bandana to see what colors I want, to see how much of each color I want, and then we're going to pin it together. And this is also, it's very important for this one to make sure that you're pinning very precisely, as I mentioned in my first video, especially because we have a lining here. So we're working with a lot more material. We're working with all our patches, and then we're working with the lining underneath that needs to line up with what we're using, obviously. So yeah, make sure you guys are really focusing on your what is it called? Make sure you guys are really focusing on your pinning to make sure everything's staying in place, to make sure it's covering the right like the crotch pieces and like the indentions and all the swerves and curves that we have on the lining. So now I'm moving to sewing, obviously, and I'm using a straight stitch all the way through. And as I did my first video, I'm just placing the fabrics that I'm using first, and then I go back and I start to cut around the lining or whatever pattern that I'm using. So now we're done. Here my bobbin thread was really messing up, so don't come for the little scraggly pieces that you see on the back. But anyway, I'm pinning down the front pieces, kissing the front pieces, make sure that the fronts are kissing, and I'm pinning that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the back, make sure that the fronts are kissing. You see right here, the water stain was from ironing. But yeah, make sure the fronts are kissing, and then we're just going to sew down where you see me pinning. Make sure that your crotch pieces are aligned so that it's not looking crazy in that department. So make sure that they're aligned. Just add your pins to make it easier for you to guide. Make it easy as a guide for when you're sewing. So now we're going to go right through and we're going to straight stitch all the way down. If you'd like to, you can double stitch this. I feel like I could have double stitch it, but I didn't. But yeah, if you want to double stitch it, by the way, double stitching would be me doing this stitch and then going again right next to it with another stitch, just to make sure that it has a little bit of extra security. So we're doing the same exact thing to our front piece. And you see on the back piece that I did just before, my stitches look a little bit cleaner because I don't know what was happening to my bobbin. I think it might have been the thread that I bought was just cheap thread, but anyway. So yeah. So now we're going to open it up and iron. You already know what that means. If you're not keeping up with the series, then you're not going to know what some of the things I'm saying mean. So make sure you go and watch the first video of the series, which is my DIY denim jacket patchwork. But anyway, we are ironing to make it look like we're doing something, period. So now I'm going to put the front piece on top of the back piece just so you guys can see what I'm doing, but you're actually going to make them kiss each other and line the front piece all the way up to the end of the back piece. There is going to be a little bit of space, as you can see, but it's supposed to be like that. So just line up your front piece and your back piece, make sure they're kissing each other, and then we're going to pin them all the way down. So when you're done with this side, you're going to get the other two sides and just pull them to align with each other, as you saw me just do. And I'm just cutting off some excess. So we're just going to pin this down, and then we're going to go back to the sewing machine and we're going to do a straight stitch all the way through. And when you're done with this, you can kind of play with your pants to just kind of align them back up so it's the same amount on each side. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when you're doing it, you'll see. Like, you'll just pull it over so the front is in the front and the back is in the back, kind of kind of hugging it. That made no sense. Anyway, so now we're into the crotch area, and this is the most difficult, quote unquote difficult, not really, but the part that you need to make sure you're paying attention to. So what I'm gonna say is make sure that your front seam is going one way and make sure that your back seam is going another way, so that when you're sewing, it's a flat base and it's not bulging up in your crotch area or just making it uncomfortable or anything like that. So you're gonna slightly see me do it here, but you can barely see. So this front going to the left, back going to the right, either way you want to do it, and make sure you are back stitching for a little bit of extra security. Even if you want to do a double stitch, you can. So now I'm going to go in with my, what's this called, elastic, just to kind of measure how much I need to fold over the top of my pants. And then we're going to iron it to make it look like we're doing something. If you know what I'm talking about, then you should be going to my first video of this series to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so then I'm going to pin these down, and we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. The bottom you can do however much or less you want to. Is really up to you and how long or short you want your shorts to be. And then we're just going to pin this down to make everything stay in place even more before we sew it. And when it comes to your waistline, you're going to leave about an inch or two, however much you want. You're going to leave that open like I just did right there. So when you're putting in your elastic band, which you would do with a safety pin, you have somewhere to push it into. So you're just going to be gathering and pulling your elastic band all the way through until it makes it to the other side. And then you're going to pull it out like I'm doing. And then we're going to sew these two elastic pieces together, straight stitch. Also, I just went back and forth a couple times to make sure that it is secure. And now we are done. Can you look at these? Like, I'm really out here doing it because I'm a beginner. Just like you may be a beginner if you're watching this, I'm a beginner. So we're just going to iron this out. Make sure that you're just being patient with yourself. Make sure you write on your materials to help you know the inside and out so you don't make any mistakes like I did when I was doing this. And these are your shorts. They're very cute and trendy for the summer. Very hot and like colors popping out. You know, you can wear a little belly top with this, skin out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you're looking forward to my pictures on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, like my pictures. Be active in my stories. This is my happy dance because I was so happy to be done, and then these came out great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.